Concept 7, the table. It tells us to move to the end of the paragraph on La Sierra. So I'm going to go ahead and use my document map. And I'm going to go down to La Sierra. And I'll close it. Once there, I'm going to move to the end of the paragraph. And I'm going to hit enter twice to insert 2 blank lines. Then I'm going to open the Insert tab, and you'll see that Table's in its own little group called Table, and when you click on it, it gives you a grid. And I'm going to make my grid 3 by 3, indicating I want a 3 by 3 table. I'll click that, and my cursor automatically appears there. And on 3.55, it shows us what to type in. So I'm going to type in La Costa, and I'm going to use the Tab button to move me over. And I'm going to type in 2, tab again, and 68. And when I tab again, it will wrap me down to the next one. La Sierra, tab, 35, tab, 54. And then tab again, and finally La Selva, tab, 137, and 80. And so we have some basic information that's really not that useful. What we've forgotten to do, or the book has told us to forget to do, is to add in a line for titles. So we're going to have to add a title line. And so what we want to do is come up to our first line here, make sure our cursor's flashing there. And I'm going to open up the Table Tools Layout tab. You'll note when I have a table selected, I get Table Tools up here, and I get a Design tab and a Layout tab. So I'm going to go to Layout. And I'm going to go to the Insert above in the rows and columns. So you can see rows and columns is one of my groups. And I'm going to click on Insert above. And it's saying I want to insert a line above. And there it goes. Now I have a table that has 4 rows and 3 columns. And I'm going to add some information in to make this make a little more sense. We'll start with a region. Tab over. Annual rainfall. Then I'll hit enter, and in parentheses, I'm going to type in inches. I'm going to tab over again. Average temperature. And then enter, and then in Fahrenheit. Once I've done that, now my table makes a little bit more sense. We're going to point to the vertical divider between the first and second columns. And you'll see that your cursor changes a little bit. I'm going to click off of that, and it changes into a sizing handle. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to adjust my chart a little bit. I don't need that much room for region, so I can shrink it down a little bit. And then I might want to split the difference between these two. And you can play with it a little bit till you think it looks good. If we point to the table and drag the resize handle, we can decrease the width of the table as well. So you can see here we've got a little movement handle, and here we have a sizing handle. And what we're going to do here is shrink our table down to 5 inches, about there. What we're going to do is we want to avoid too much excess white space in one of these charts. Once we've done this, I'm going to select all of this. And in the menu toolbar, I can see that center is one of my options. And I'm going to go ahead and center this. Now it looks even just a little bit better, doesn't it? After we've done that, we're going to sort these 3. So we're going to click on the sort button in the data group. So make sure we have our whole table selected, table layout, and go to the sort button in data here. And it'll ask us, how do we want to sort this? And we don't want to mess with any of these settings. Typically it works out well. It already recognizes that region's supposed to be a title here. So we'll just click on OK. And you'll see that it sorted these 3 pits of information based on their region. So La Costa, La Selva, and La Sierra are now in alphabetical order. And then you can click off of it to get it to unhighlight. Now we have a table, but it's a pretty plain and dull table. So what we're going to do is add a little bit of flavor. And we want to open up the Table Tools Design tab this time. And you'll see that we have table styles here. And if you lift your cursor on them, it'll give you a preview. And then there's a More button right here with the arrow pointing down. And you can see there's lots of, unfortunately, there's so many of it makes it a little difficult to see what your table looks like. But go ahead and pick one, any one, doesn't matter at all, whatever you like. I'm going to go with this one. I think that looks good. This used to take a lot more time. It's a very nice little feature to have table styles like this. Go ahead and select the heading line here. And we're going to then align this. And you can find this in the alignment group in the layout tab. And we're going to go ahead and center it both vertically and horizontally. In the same manner, center the rest of it. And just trying to make it look a little bit better. We're then going to add a caption to our group here, to our table. So we want to go to our Reference tab and go ahead and hit Insert Caption. And this one, we're not going to call a figure, we're going to call this one a table. And we want it to appear below the selected item. And we're going to call this one Climate. You probably should put a space in there. And then we're going to hit OK. And you'll see that we now get a caption that says table. We also want to take our little table here and center it on the page. So you want to go ahead and move it to centered on the page. Once you've done that, you can save your document.